ಒಮ್ಮೆ ಚೇರ್ ತಗೊಂಡೆ.
ಆಯ್ತು. ಇದು ನಂದು ಚೇರ್ ಯಾರು ತಗೊಂಡೋದ್ರು, ಒಂದವ್ರು ಯಾರು ಹೋಗಿದ್ರು. ಹಲೋ ಹಲೋ.
were developed in Kodach in
for 1 or 2 days. 1 or 2 days, a patient was survived. So that is a great achievement. That's a great achievement. I still have that article about 15 years back, 15, not 15, about 20 years back. I was doing a PhD in university. So that time I gave an article in Sudha or another, some Jana, I don't remember, not the Udayvani, but another very popular Janamahini, or I think. In that actually, I gave an article, still I am having that copy of that particular article, because from the Scientific American I got that article, and then I have converted that, where actually the idea was genetically modifying the pigs, because the heart chamber of the pig and the human, it has a lot of similarity. So that article I have present, it came in the Janamahini or in the Udayvani about 20 plus years back. It's okay. So that has came into reality. And the other one, the hemodialyzer. So sometime during the 1905 or 1910, the transplantation was which was done from the this one, what is that, a pig, and then the patient was survived for a few hours. But now with the hemodialysis, throughout life one can survive. That is what with the development in the science and technology, such advancement in the biomedical science also we can see. Then what type of I hope you got the. We can reverse this process, provided I take Dr. Professor Bhatt, I'll take 4 minutes extra, because my 4 minutes have gone in that, so I'm taking extra 4 minutes. So by 10:35 I'll be finishing. So the reversing this process, which is possible, provided when you apply the pressure here, which is greater than the osmotic pressure, then that is nothing but the reverse osmosis. The same thing is done in the case of the reverse osmosis. And in the membranes of the reverse osmosis, as I mentioned, it is through the diffusion. Then what type of the material to be chosen? Because hundreds of polymers are polymeric materials or polymers which are commercially available. Can we use all of such materials? No. If the polymer or if the material, if it can satisfy following requirement, like it should have the film forming nature, and then the mechanically it should be stable, because the membranes are working based on the applied pressure. So they should able to tolerate the applied pressure or the strain. So mechanically stable. Thermally also it should be stable, because in the wastewater treatment, say for example in the thermal power plants, thermal power station, the wastewater which is released, it is beyond 50 to 60 degrees Celsius. So in such case, while carrying out the filtration of such water sample with a higher temperature, in such case it should not affect or it should not destroy the membrane material. So it should be thermally resistant, chemically stable, because when we are treating the waste water, it may be even the sewage water or the wastewater from the chemical industries. It contains varieties of the dissolved chemicals. So it should not affect the membrane material. So that means the material should be chemically stable. And then there should be a proper balancing between hydrophobic and the hydrophilic nature. That is also important. So based on above this listed requirement, following some of the 7-8 materials which are most commonly used, because they show many of the qualities which are mentioned here, they will be satisfied by most of these polymers. But please remember, none of the polymer which is mentioned here can satisfy all these requirement. So most of the qualities are satisfied, but none of them are satisfying all the properties. Then that is what the role of the chemist or the chemistry people is important. We can modify by introducing different structures, different substituents or different branches, or with the chemical modification, we can change their properties. Can you, Dr. Chandrasekhar, can you manually just, because next slide. Yeah, the applications part already I have mentioned earlier, the desalination, then water purification, water softening, the electronic industries where the fuel cells, or even in the pharmaceutical industries like the hemodialyzers, or it may be the oxygen generators. And then even in the food industries, the whey protein, in the milk processing units, where the waste which is generated from the milk processing units, which is highly enriched with the one protein by name whey protein. So such isolation of the whey protein, that is in the one such example, that is in the food industries, it is highly useful, even in the textile industries, and then metallurgical industries, mining industries, pharmaceutical industries. So you may be knowing in the pharmaceutical industries, the isomers, right? Different isomers, which is separation is a quite again expensive task, or it will be done with the chemical methods or with the asymmetric synthesis one has to follow. But nowadays the recent development is even there are highly specialized membrane, they can separate the isomers of a molecules also. So even in pharmaceutical industries, hemodialysis, gas separation, etc. So these are all some of the core applications of the membranes. And then membrane materials, as I mentioned in the last previous slide, the polysulfone or the other cellulose acetate, or it may be the polyvinylidene difluoride or polyacrylonitrile. These are all the few of the commonly used materials. Of course, it needs a modification in their structure, or by making them composite, or by converting them into the blend, we can improve their properties. Then how to make a membrane, how to prepare a membrane. It's a very simple to begin with in any of the laboratory to begin the membrane research. Hardly you may have to spend something 800 to 1000 rupees, hardly, for the beginners. Just one glass plate and one glass rod or one stainless steel rod. These are just, that is sufficient. So you first prepare the polymer solution having a desired viscosity. Of course, with the trial and error, you can vary that, or you can refer the literatures and accordingly you can prepare the solution with the desired viscosity. And once it is done, then introduce that polymer solution on the glass plate, and with the help of the glass rod or with the help of the steel rod, just move it in one particular direction, in the forward direction. Just roll it. Only one direction, you have to just roll it. And then whatever that glass plate is there, after some treatment, like a heat treatment, or it may be exposed to the increased humidity, or different type of the treatments we do, then you can immerse it into a vessel or a trough or any container which is containing the water. So within few minutes to few hours, the membrane, it gets separated. So this is how a very simple way one can initiate the work on the membrane. In fact, when I started in NITK Surathkal, I started initially with this thing. So now we have with the improvement and then with the help of the funding agencies as well as the support from the institute, we got the highly sophisticated equipment also. The choice of solvent. So while preparing the polymer solution, you have to choose appropriate solvent like organic solvents, you can even use the DMSO or DMSO or the dimethyl formamide or N-methyl pyrrolidine. So you can, or even the THF, which is highly volatile. THF is highly volatile. So appropriate solvent that can be chosen. Then the non-solvent. Here the non-solvent is nothing but the solvent we call where the polymer which we are dissolving, that is I have termed it as a solvent. The non-solvent is nothing but the glass plate when you are immersing it into the water. So water is termed as a here, it is a non-solvent. So when you immerse the glass plate into the water molecule tries to enters into the polymer matrix, whereas the solvent which is present in the polymer matrix, it tries to come outside. So during this particular process, the porosity will be formed and the membrane it gets separated. And also the polymer concentration, of course, with the trial and error, or one can refer the initially literature and then they can initiate. Then the preparation already I have mentioned. So this is the polymer solution. Polymer solution is here. And then this was casted on a glass plate, and the glass plate which was after immersing it into water is a non-solvent here. You can see here the polymer, it gets precipitated in the form of a film, and this is this particular film or the membrane. And the film which are prepared fabricated by this particular method, they are porous in structure. Of course, not visible to eyes, not visible to the naked eyes, but under the electron microscope, you can clearly observe. You can see here the fine porous here at the top layer, and through this elongated structure, the water molecule are percolating, which are the flow of the water molecule from here. So this is the top surface and this is the bottom region. Then the different terminologies, the flux, which is nothing but the productivity of the membrane, that is always expressed in terms of the flux. And then the rejection, which is nothing but to what extent we have removed the unwanted. So that is always converted again in the form of the percentage. And then the swelling. Swelling is the more hydrophilic material, when you immerse the polymer membrane in the water, it absorbs more and more water molecule. So the swelling will be more there. Lesser the hydrophilic, the swelling will be lesser. And what type of the modules we can use? What type of the modules? So the modules in any laboratories, even in any international laboratories, either it is a dead end type, or it may be the cross flow. So in the dead end, you can see here, this is the polymer membrane, a polymer membrane or the sheet. And from one region, from the top region, the solution which is to be purified, that will be introduced from one of the region. And then this is the permeate, that means the purified one. And here the drawback is there is a possibility of the concentration polarization. Unless the solution is not continuously stirred, there will be concentration polarization and the rate of the filtration may greatly affect after a few minutes. So that is why the other one is the cross flow, where you can see there is a continuous flow of this feed solution. Feed solution continuously flow, and there is a permeate will be collected here. So there is no any possibility for the concentration polarization as in the first case. In our laboratory, we have both these units. So this is what just again a schematic diagram here, just to mention what is meant by the fouling. So when these membranes are used for several hours, several days, several months, or maybe several years, here what happens is this. You can see here the fine pores which are present here, they may get blocked by some impurities. They may get blocked by the impurities. It may be the formation of the algae, or it may be the fine dust particles or the sediments. they may get clogged into the on the surface. As a result of that, the pores will slowly they will get blocked. So in such case, the membranes have to be replaced, and that is called as, that is nothing but the fouling. So our group, we are also working on by adding certain materials into the while fabricating the membrane, we are making the membrane more fouling resistance. That means for a normal polymer membrane, if the lifespan is, say, suppose 1 year, by making them into more anti-fouling in nature, we can enhance their life by 2, 3, 4 years or so. So that is actually nothing. You can see here initially the flux, that is the flux is nothing but the flow rate initially, which was such a high, and then after a particular time duration, it drastically decreases. You might have observed in the residential water purifiers, after 6 months or 8 months or a year, you'll call the representatives of their company, and they will come and they will replace the cartridge, and they will charge at least 1,000 rupees, right? That is nothing but the membrane has been completely, it got fouled. And any such a membrane or the cartridge, whatever, it is not even, the manufacturing cost is not even 50 rupees. But you know, when it commercialized, it can go up to thousands. Then here the latest development is, that is about hardly 2 minutes I'll take. The latest one is about the hollow fiber membranes. I think, yeah. Maybe, can you please pass it on? The main advantage of this hollow fiber membrane is, here the surface area is much larger as compared to the flat sheet membrane, and this hollow fiber membrane doesn't require any sort of the support. But in case of the flat sheet membrane, they require support, some mechanical support, or for the stability it is required, whereas in these particular cases, no such type of the support is required, and the surface area is also much larger. Because of that, the lifespan is also more. So we have the recently, last 8 months back, we have installed a large scale hollow fiber membrane fabricating unit, and per hour about 700 meters of continuous single fiber. And this fiber is completely hollow, just like any tube. That is not, looks like a noodle, but it is hollow in the inside. Centrally, it is completely hollow. So as long as you provide the polymer solution, we can have thousands of meters without any interruption can be fabricated. So this particular picture is for the fabrication of the flat sheet membranes. Here it is, the hollow fiber membranes which we have prepared. This is actually the unit, and this unit is open for all. It is under the central research facility. So anybody, those who are interested, they can approach us, and then they can make use of this particular facility. We have kept some nominal charges, even for my samples also, even my students also, when they use this particular machine under the central research facility, even I have to, from my grant, I have to give some funding, because we have procured the high-ended equipments under the loan from the government. So we have the liability that the loan, when you have taken, interest payment is our responsibility. That's the reason, even for my samples also, we have to pay that. But we are happy that we have the facility. So whenever required, we can make use of this. This is what exactly the cross-sectional picture, electron microscope picture of the membrane which I have given the hollow fiber. You can see in the central, it is completely hollow, and on the outer side, it's with the at the top region, there are a fine porous structure, and these are the finger-like projection through which the percolation of the water will take place. And that is the module. And the main challenges, I think this is the last slide, choosing an appropriate and stable material, preventing and minimizing the fouling, retaining the high flux and the high selectivity, proper balance of the hydrophilic and the hydrophobic, and making more importantly, making the membranes in a more economical and more efficient, that is also required. Because if the membrane, if that membrane, whatever I given, if it costs a few hundreds rupees, then who will afford that, right? So it should be very, very economical. But unfortunately, as of now, the market of the membrane, it is in the control of the multinationals. That is what the price is exorbitantly very high. Price is exorbitantly very high. But when we have that is what the hemodialyzer. Now, in last 2 years, 2-3 years, the price has slightly, it has came down. A hemodialyzer, it costs about 1,500 rupees. And for your kind information, in India, we don't have the technology to develop the hemodialyzers. Just 3 years before, it was 3,000, 3,500 rupees. Now it has came down to 1,500. But still, the manufacturing cost for that one is hardly less than 100 rupees. Because we don't have the technology. So our group is working on that, and we are at the final stage at the clinical trials of that one. In that case, if we are successful, we will be able to commercialize around hardly 300 rupees or around 330 rupees a hemodialyzer cartridge. So this is the last one. Thanks for this opportunity once again. If time permits, the video, half-minute video is there. 30 seconds only. I think 3 videos which I would like to mention. It's already given there. It's already there, no? So this was during the 6th August 2018. It's a very memorable when I was honored by Bharat Ratna Professor C.N.R. Rao, as well as then the Chief Minister of Karnataka, Shri Kumar Swamiji, and other dignitaries. Quickly, that video, 30 seconds only. Meanwhile, any quick questions, please? Any quick questions from the students or the participants who are on the online? Whether they can ask the question on participants who are observing through the online mode. If any quick questions, you are welcome. Is it coming, that video? No questions? Because I just wanted to a couple of the systems working prototypes. Actually, one of them is already we have filed the Indian patent also last year. At any moment that may be expected for the grant, where actually during the flood what happens? Everywhere water, during the flood everywhere water, but there is difficult to get even one glass of drinking water. So we came out with one solution which is based on the membrane. That unit can be carried on a, any Matador or a Tempo, and then one generator is also required, a small generator, and whatever the muddy water which is present in the field, so that can be pumped into this unit, and it gives a microbe-free water. It produces the microbe-free water. We have done all the studies, and then Indian patent was filed about 1 year back. And the specialty of that one is per hour about 270 liters of microbe-free water we can generate. Per hour, about 270 liters. So drinking water problem which can be solved on site during the such. I just wanted to present that one. And then after that, we came out with another one. It is under progress for the Indian patent filing. Because the first unit which I mentioned, it is somewhat bulkier. We need a Matador or something and some 3-4 people to carry. So then we have modified a little bit more, and then it can be carried out on an auto rickshaw or on a bike. One person can easily carry, simple one, and no electricity is required, no generator is required. We have provided one hand pump by sparing about 1,500 rupees, and just with the hand pump it is possible. Of course, I have not included that. Yeah, the second one, can you quickly, that buckets. Here it is not coming. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅದು. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. Just beginning ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ. Yeah, this is what? First in ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ. Okay, this is okay, fine. This is actually we have used the actual the sewage water, but it's such a nasty odor. You can imagine the sewage water. And then there is a the aeration will do, and here there is a membrane cartridge. There is a membrane cartridge below this, which is including the water. And then on the other, you can see here there is a membrane cartridge, which is immersed in water. And you can see here, this is the cartridge. And on the other side, in the other, still clear water, it's still not any water. I'm not suggesting it like car washing or the washing purposes. See here, still clear water. It can be used for the this is a small prototype. Next one. Can you go to the first one? Other one. Yeah, this is this one. You can see here this is a muddy water. Artificially we have created artificial muddy water. Of course, in the real field, it's not so muddy. It's lesser muddy, but we have used the experimental part. We have used the highly muddy water. And of course, there will be the charcoal and the sand filters will be there, but the membrane is which is a core. And here you can see. We can give the live demo also if you visit to our laboratory. And per hour, about 270 to 280 liters of such a muddy water can be converted here. And this is the microfluid. Yeah, you can see that. We'll be comparing it with that. Okay. So this is what. So this is what the Indian patent which we have filed. And then during just before the COVID, 4 years back, when there was a severe in the Coorg and there was a flood. So we wanted to, NITK was interested to as a CSR activity. Our director has also fully supported. And then, but we need an approval from the district administration. I met personally the then district commissioner office, one senior staff. And I requested we need a permission approval that we are ready to do it as a service to the society. The moment the madam said, no, sir, of course, the flooding is there and then the water crisis also there. But right now we are providing them the mineral water bottles. So we may not require at this moment. Immediately, I guess, because the thing is, unfortunately, I don't hesitate to tell this, when they supply the 10,000 bottles, multiply by 15 rupees or 10 rupees each or 20 rupees. So that much can be done. The moment when such type of the units are there, how one can make a bill, isn't it? If I can see here, if I'm distributing 10,000 bottles, each bottle with the 20 rupees or so, we can make some bills. But when such freely, when we can give we can generate the micro-free water and when we can give it, so we cannot make the bills. This is what, even this is what the in reality also, if a scientist, if they come out with some units also, but unfortunately, there are some hurdles which will be difficult to. One more was there, I think, the last one. That is one more, that is membrane making. Last one, this one, first one. This is the hollow fiber unit which is installed in our central research facility. You can visit also with the prior approval. We will give the demonstration of this also. This was actually the dope polymer solution we introduced here. Then there is a spinneret. See here, there is a spinneret here, which is only the core, small. You can see the polymer solution is the water. When it falls into the water, it gets solidified inside. Thank you so much once again for your patiently listening. I think I've taken some 5, 6 minutes extra. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. You have enlightened us with a very new topic, and with we are thankful to you. So now I request Dr. Gopalakrishna Bhatt N, Head Department of Chemistry, Srinivas Institute of Technology, Mangaluru, to hand over a memento as a token of our respect and gratitude. Thank you, sir. Now, I request Dr. Chandrasekhar KG, Professor, Department of Chemistry, Srinivas Institute of Technology, and coordinator of this conference to propose vote of thanks.
Dignitaries of the dais and all the delegates and my dear students, for nearly 1 hour we have heard, watched the video and deliberation about the polymer essentials of polymer technology by Dr. Aranya Mislur. It's very informative. I am very much thankful on behalf of Srinivas Institute of Technology as well as organizing committee. All the way you come out to here and presented so nicely. It's a very plenary talk, sir. Very informative. Probably you would have more interaction from our students. I am very unfortunate to say that our students are just last week only joined our institution, yet to study the fundamentals of our polymer. Very near future in their modules, we will going to teach in detail all the polymer technology. By the time, I would like to refresh as much as possible whatever you deliberated today for their future challenges. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, each and everyone. Now we will have a short tea break for 15 minutes, and immediately after that, we will have a chemistry oral presentation.